The Strategies for Policing Innovation Initiative, known as SPI, supports law enforcement agencies in building evidence-based, data-driven law enforcement tactics and strategies that are effective, efficient, and economical. Since 2009, the SPI has worked with 55 law enforcement agencies across the country to implement and evaluate crime reduction strategies in rural, suburban, and urban contexts. In October 2017, SPI and the 2016 Police Prosecution Partnership Initiative, known as 3PI, grantee sites came together for a national meeting in the Washington, D.C. area to discuss innovative law enforcement strategies addressing violent crime, opioid abuse, and mentally ill or homeless individuals. This meeting enhanced the site's understanding of SPI and 3PI goals, intervention initiatives, and technical assistant resources to implement their crime reduction project. SPI sites discussed common project implementation challenges and strategies to address those challenges alongside subject matter experts. This video highlights successful SPI sites and explores the vision and goals of our newest SPI and 3PI sites funded in fiscal year 2017.
Successful and popular programs at BJA. We've had the fortune of working with over 50 jurisdictions across the country and producing validated results that speak for themselves in terms of its effectiveness. And for police agencies that are looking for real solutions to the problems they are facing in terms of violence reduction, in terms of becoming more effective and efficient as organizations, SPI really does provide a roadmap to do that.
The sites who are currently participating in the Strategies of Policing Innovation program, such as Los Angeles, California, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and Shoreline, Washington, were in attendance at the meeting to share their experience since being part of the program. They gave the new SPI sites insight and advice as they implemented their new SPI strategy.
The important thing for SPI sites is to think of themselves as a community of practice. Police innovation can't be taken for granted. I've said to my staff members many times that from a political point of view, it is far safer to fail conventionally than to attempt innovation. Innovations are by definition sometimes controversial, and sometimes don't work right away, or sometimes cost money. The conventional police response to conventional problems, even when they don't work, don't tend to get criticized because that's the way it's always been.
Communication is a big piece of this. When we meet internally, we now include our subject matter experts on conference calls to keep them included on what's working well, what areas we need to improve upon. And then also guidance. They have great insight working with law enforcement on realistic expectations and then how hard it is to incorporate change into a police agency. And
so if a new SPI site thinks that in the next 1 year, 2 years, they're going to see significant dramatic reductions and they're going to see their department really change to a new program, I'd say kind of temper that enthusiasm because you're really playing the long game. This is something that's we tried to create that will change the LAPD for the long run and for the betterment of the department, and it really is a long game. And so to have some patience with your program.
The new Strategies for Policing Innovation sites were asked to identify their site's issue that is being addressed as part of the SPI program, what strategies they have developed, how they plan to evaluate the effectiveness of the program, their expectations and goals, and to share what they would consider success in a year's time.
I would say initially what we'd be looking for is some measurable impact on crime, particularly violent crime, and then reduced calls for service. As we're new in the process of implementing this within our first 6 to 8 months of this, we hope within a year's time that we have some impact on it as we perfect what we're doing and learn from mistakes as we implement it.
To reduce gun crime violence within the city, capture those that's responsible and successfully prosecute them, and also build a bridge with the community to support us in our mission to reduce gun violence.
So by participating in the SPI project, the Madison Addiction Recovery Initiative will utilize a multidisciplinary team approach to facilitate treatment and improved outcomes for opioid and drug-addicted individuals. Second goal will be to reduce recidivism, crime, and overdoses. And finally, to improve community health and safety.
The police department is partnering with numerous agencies to include the fire department, outreach workers to follow up directly with overdose victims, as well as for outreach, education. We also look to reduce the trauma on children. All of our first responders are trained, police, fire, and EMS, to look for the signs of children at the scenes of these overdoses so that we can then refer them to services and follow up with them and make sure that their needs are addressed as well.
Our goal ultimately is to reduce gun violence and to reduce recidivism and re-injury. But what we would consider success is success that we already have and that we've gotten two very large public service agencies to collaborate on this project. Sustainability is also something that we would consider success over the course of the program.
For example, we're down 16% in shootings citywide this year versus last year. Our first SDSE district to go live, which went live in early 2017, 7th District, Inglewood on the south side of the city, which used to be one of the primary drivers of violence in the city, is now down 40% in shootings this year, year to date, versus last year, versus 2016. So success would be to continue to see those kinds of results and even better results, not only in the SDSE districts, but citywide.
We would consider success to be continued reduction in violent crime at the locations. Right now we have experienced a 13.6% reduction in year-to-date crime statistics at our participating businesses, and that's year-to-date 2017 to 16. So just to continue to drive crime down in those areas.
just increasing collaboration in a year's time from now. I think the university and Dutra's department were collaborating a bit more and thinking about projects. And I hadn't really thought about collaborating with law enforcement prior to this project, or I've done some minor projects. And so this has been an interesting relationship where we're kind of throwing out different ideas of how to do things and different research projects, but also different ways of engaging with homeless individuals. I think the success will also be, whether or not we can reconceptualize what is that kind of relationship between law enforcement and social service providers will be moving on.
For more information about SPI, visit www.strategiesforpolicinginnovation.com.